Shrikant Chouhan, technical analyst at Kotak Securities, is now joining in. Shrikant, thank you so much for taking out time for us. 7725, till yesterday it was said to be one of the important levels, 2-year low. Every time we've bounced back from that level. How would you view that now? Second time we've bounced from that level on a substantially negative base that we had made, going, largely going to that level.
I think, many times I have noticed that whenever the market is in the range, max it follows for 2 times, and there is no as such any third bottom kind of theory in the technicals. So I am of the view that there is like a theory of multi-base kind of formation, but especially for Nifty, if it again falls to the 7725 or 30 levels, then I am very much of the view that it will break these levels and it will make a new low around 7630 or 7620. I am not expecting in a hurry that the market will break even 7540, but certainly if it again falls to 7725 levels, it will break the same and it will form a new low somewhere close to 7630, 7640 levels.
Right. Say if we are flat for the next 3 or 4 days, or we stay above the 7800 mark, then the view would change substantially?
No, I think it has to cross the level of 7850, 7860 as early as possible, because
these are cash levels.
Yeah, these are all cash levels, spot basis. So 7860 is the important level to cross in next 2 trading sessions, and in case if it fails, then certainly we are again heading downwards, because we cannot forget that we are still into that downward trend. The market is forming lower top, lower bottoms. This time also, when the market has made a high of 7860, we were of the view that it is going to continue up to 7950, 60 levels, but suddenly because of some reason the market has fallen. But the best part is that as compared to 7715, we sustained those levels and again we rebounded back to the same levels. But today again, when the market was into very bullish trend, it clearly failed to cross the level of 7860. So my view is that max we can give 2 trading sessions. By Monday, it should cross the levels of 7860, and in the absence of that, we can again fall to the levels of 7600.
Basically, investors will lose out patience.
Yeah, it looks like, because the way the selling is happening from the FI side, I think that is going to continue, and that will keep the buying breath very low.
Right. What is your view as far as Dr. Reddy's is concerned? 20% of the high, now trying to stabilize, but still you're not being able to find any major support.
I think the fall is vertical. The stock has formed multi-top around 43-4400 levels, and today the way the stock has fallen again with good volumes, I am very clearly of the view that the stock is still not stabilizing. We have to stay away. Unless and until the stock is not sustaining above the level of 3500 and it is not forming any bullish formation, we should stay away. Any rise, any bounce from current levels, we should utilize that to reduce long positions or to exit out of trading long positions.
Right. You can just pull up Arvind Ltd. It's buzzing in. It's up about 9%. Shrikant, any view on Arvind Ltd? It's a part of FNO now. Volumes had dried up. I think around 250 to 280. It was consolidating for a while now. I'm not sure if there is any news flow, but this seems to be a meaningful bounce that we can see.
Pankaj, it's a classic technical breakout formation. If you notice, the stock was failing to cross the level of 293, 295 since last almost 1 month, and the base was little bit on the higher side. And today, when the market was open around 7800 levels, the stock has broken the level of 295, 296. So it's a clear-cut buying strength kind of formation, and that's why maybe towards the end of the session we are seeing buying in this stock. It's a classic technical breakout. I think it is heading for the levels of 340, 345. At the same time, I am of the view that we are going to see some more action from almost all textile related stocks, because this is the stock which always starts the run up in textile industry, and then later on we see rally in Vardhaman Textile or few other stocks.
Right, but overall, if we close about the 310 mark, you would be quite convinced that it's heading towards 340.
Yeah, I'm convinced. The way the stock has broken the level of 295, 296, I think even a close about 295, 296 is also sufficient for the stock to hold the current up move.
Right. What will be your view on names like Bajaj Auto, Hero MotoCorp? Do they also signify a breakout?
I think they are very close to the resistance level, but certainly the momentum is there. If I want to take a view of next 3 months, then certainly I would say that one can look for adding stocks even at current levels. But if there is a short-term view, then I think they are very close to their resistance level, like TVS Motors is not crossing the level of 300, Bajaj Auto is failing to cross the level of 2450, Hero Motors is again failing to cross the level of 2650. So net they are very close to their resistance level, and I think the news flow which is there for 7th pay commission, I think once the news will come on that particular event, I think after that we can see some profit taking from almost all this two-wheeler segment.
Right, and names like Maruti, Tata Motors?
See, I think there also the problem is there. I mean to say they are also very close to their resistance level. Like Maruti is failing to cross the level of 4670, 4700. Tata Motors is very close to the next important mark of 420. But there also we are seeing a lot of profit taking. So maybe some correction is not rolled out in the near term from Tata Motors as well as Maruti. But yes, one thing is very clear that if there is any fall because of any reason, we should look for adding Tata Motors, because the way the stock has formed its base and the way the stock has given price breakout, I think 390 is going to act as a very good support for it.
Right, Tata Motors DVR is actually going in an opposite direction since the last few days. And what I mean to say is it's outperforming because it's included in the MSCI index. You think this time around the gap can close down quite significantly?
See, this time the interesting formation for Tata Motors DVR is that it opened when there was a news flow, positive news flow for Tata Motors that it is going to get included in MSCI. That time it opened above the 200-day simple moving average, and today it is trading at 294. So I am of the view that 270, 275 is now a very good base for the stock, and it is heading for the level of 340, 335 in next maybe few trading sessions. And certainly the way the technical formation is there, I am of the view that it is going to contract the difference between Tata Motors and Tata Motors DVR.
Right, Havells today is up 4%. After a long time it has given a breakout. Any view on that? Suddenly volumes on that name had also dried up quite significantly.
Pankaj, I think again this one is also a beneficiary of the 7th pay commission, and here the base part is that the stock is diverging positively on daily basis. The stock has also formed a multiple bottom around 245, 250 levels, and after that the stock has broken the resistance level. But yes, again on the high side, 275, 280 is the major barrier for the stock, and till the stock is below 280 levels, I think it is going to remain in a range. So 280 is the best case possibility for next few days of time, and on the downside 250 is the support area. So right. I think at these levels one should look for taking some profit.
Right, DLF going against the market now, it's going back to the 100 rupee level. You think it will bounce like before, or you see chances of it going much below 100 rupees?
I think the stock is correcting. The way the stock has performed in last month, I think it is correction to that particular up move, and the stock is having very good support between 95-96 levels. So we were of the view that it will halt around 110 or 20 levels, but it has broken those levels. So maybe the next level, 95-96, is the crucial mark for it, and it should not close below the mark of 96-95. That's our view. And in case if it like holds that particular level, 95-96 levels, then DLF will certainly again bounce back very sharply to the levels of 130-135. So it is specifically into a trending mode, and currently it is into corrective wave. So after completion of the correction, we are again going to see up move in the stock.
Right. Shrikant, any view on Interglobe Aviation? Very short data for you to analyze, but continuously every day going up, currently is up 8.5%.
Pankaj, it is very surprising that the stock is following almost all technical resistance as well as support levels on intraday charts. So we don't have like very large history for Interglobe, I mean to say Indigo. But on intraday basis, certainly there are like number of bar on which like we can analyze, and based on that, I'm of the view that it is heading for the levels of maybe 1300, 1250. So if there is any fall because of any reason towards say 1090, 1085, again there the stock is having very good support, and from there we are again expecting a rebound. So currently it is into uptrend. Maybe it will complete its current up move around 1160, 1170 levels, and from there we can see some correction. But if there is any correction towards 1080, 1090 levels, certainly we should look for adding the stock.
Right. As far as looking at this versus Jet and SpiceJet are considered, because even those stocks, they never had any life, they never had any major interest coming in. But now at every fall, you're seeing interest even in the other aviation space.
I think the whole industry is doing well. In fact, last time also when we discussed, we were like of the view that certainly Jet Airways as well as SpiceJet is also going to participate very heavily in next, I mean to say in this current up move, and in next maybe 12 to 18 months of time we are going to see a decent upside. The reason is because Jet Airways is forming a triangle, bullish triangle formation, and currently it is out of that particular breakout formation. So my target for the Jet Airways is between 650, 700 on the high side. SpiceJet has already broken its rounding bottom formation at 50 rupees. So the next logical level for the stock should be in the range of 80, 85. So maybe SpiceJet can also do extremely well in next maybe couple of months.
Right. Along with the aviation space, logistics has been doing well. So names like Gati, some of the other names have done well. Do you think such niche sectors would continue to do well?
I think, Pankaj, they are holding their lows, and when especially we have seen a fall in frontline stocks, these stocks are managing their lows. Today also when the market was like, in last few days when the market was into bad shape, Gati as well as All Cargo, GDL, they did well. So I am of the view that they are holding their lows, and if they are holding their lows and they are already corrected very heavily from their highs, I think we should look for adding these particular stocks to our portfolio, because the next story to come from the mid-cap segment again should be from the logistic. So we are specifically bullish on Gati, we are specifically bullish on GDL as well as All Cargo.
Right. If we look at some of the other large cap gainers, pharma seems to be underperforming. So names like Sun Pharma, Lupin, Dr. Reddy's. We spoke about Dr. Reddy's, of course. But how are other large caps pharma companies looking? Is there some sort of underperformance that you expect to continue?
So definitely underperformance is going to remain there. It's mainly because the way we have seen a price correction as well as time-wise price correction in the stock. But the way they have shown tremendous returns or spectacular rally in last 1 year of time, I am of the view that whatever the correction is there, it's just a correction, and at support levels or from any nearby support levels, we are again going to see a strong rebound. So one thing is very clear, that it is very difficult for them to cross their immediate highest levels. Like to cross 4,300, 4,400 for Dr. Reddy is next to impossible. For Sun Pharma to cross the level of 1,300 is next to impossible. But certainly we are going to see a very strong bounce back in next maybe few months of time. So if there is a patience, and if really somebody wants to stick to pharma sector, then one can look for adding any one stock from the space, because from here I think the downside is limited, but upside on the higher side definitely we are going to see minimum 20-25% return in next 12 to 18 months of time.
Right. How would you look at the technology pack? Infosys has given up a lot of gains. Tech Mahindra has started to move up. You think worst is over?
I think technology stocks have given breakdown formations, especially Infosys as well as TCS, and that's why like I'm little bit worried. Yeah, I'm not expecting any major fall, but they are going to spend some more time, and the way I mean to say the fall is also hardly any 20-25% kind of fall from their highest levels. So even if there is a bounce back, then bounce back will not last or will not cross the level of maybe 10% higher from these levels. So the upside is also limited. Downside is still not like clear. So my view is that we should look for mid-cap IT stocks, because the action is there, like Sonata Softwares or Geometric Software, KPIT. I think these are the stocks on which like we should focus, and we should stay away from large cap at least for next few months of time.
Right. Shrikant, thank you so much for taking out time for us. Always a pleasure talking to you.